Welcome back. We have just a few minutes left remaining in the show, and we have a little treat for you. Ian went out and took some video of a mock disaster yesterday at the First Christian Church, and it was one of those events that was kind of not publicized. It was not meant to be publicized, and we had some...
that made it more real, I guess, for the whole...
Yeah, it was kind of it keeps people on their toes,
right.
The emergency personnel, the firemen and EMS, and also the law enforcement. And
a disaster could happen like that. Sure. You just never know.
Sure, and the hospital has to be ready, firemen have to be ready, police people have to be ready. It's just one of those things where they're kind of always on call in case that disaster does happen. But what they did yesterday is they had a mock drill at the First Christian Church in Harrison, and the call came in that there was an explosion, and they know there was an argument going on, and that's really all they have to go on.
And then they have to go through the process of deciphering the information, what happens when you go on scene. You have to size the scene up and see if what really is going on. Then you have to report back to other agencies.
I was going to say, and it wouldn't just be the tragedy of it, but you have, for safety's sake, you don't know. I mean, if you don't know any more about the situation than what you
don't.
Were given.
And typically, on a situation like that, one officer will be sent to the scene to kind of assess the situation, and then they realize, this might be a big deal. So when I arrived at the scene,
how are you privy to this information?
Well, they let the media know that there was going to be a mock drill,
but
and
they wanted
actually
to keep it a secret. They didn't want it publicized.
Okay.
Right. They just wanted to make sure that if the public did call any of the stations, that the stations would be aware that, and they wouldn't go crazy either. They could tell the viewer, the listener there that it was just a drill to please calm down, because they've had drills in the past that were very public, in the open, and people driving by could see what was going on, and it does look real.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But I was able to shoot some footage, and I was able to get there early enough to kind of see the progression of how things like this took place, and it was quite amazing.
You want to show
some let's see some of that footage.
Okay.
First of all, like I said, one person will show up, they assess the scene, and then they realize, hey, we need SWAT out here. So they call the SWAT in. And they were letting the media in at this point, and we were kind of getting to see what was going on. These are just some bystanders, the police chief and Fire Chief.
In the hallways?
They put smoke in the hallways, yes. And there's a small child that was
So this is what the emergency responders see when they come on scene. They see a child there. How the child got there.
They don't know.
And there's smoke in the room. They don't know if it's a fire, if it's a bomb, or whatever.
And police are not worried about the victims at this point. I mean, they're worried about securing the scene.
Exactly.
And now they've found
They
found somebody that was, I believe, was armed.
Well, there's a guy that wants to go to jail. It says right there on his shirt. So he's a suspect.
He's a suspect.
Not sure if he's the only suspect or one of many.
So they're still assessing the scene. They're, blocking all the entrances.
Do we have a SWAT team here in Harrison?
They do. It's a special group of guys that practice for this.
Now, one thing I have to say, they don't know what's going on. They don't
have no idea where.
This is not scripted. They come on scene and they have no idea what's going on.
Only the people that have, I guess, initially.
On the left, when you'll see like a bunch of tables and stuff flipped over. You see two doorways on your left-hand side. We haven't been inside either one of those.
They're pretending this is a real deal.
Exactly.
I mean, they're communicating with each other. And, a camera would not be in a situation like
no
this.
doubt.
The green shirt, that's who he took out.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
But they're checking on everybody, make sure there's nothing going on that they don't know about. But what I'm a videographer, so I think, the light and the smoke's cool.
Yeah.
That's neat.
What they're doing now, I guess, they've decided to have to go through all the rooms to see if there's anyone else in there.
Right, and they feel like at this point, they feel like pretty much the scene is secure. They're coordinating the ambulance crew to be able to allow them in to start pulling the injured out, and the ambulance is now setting up a mass casualty scene where they're talking about where they're going to put the patients. You know, as far as who's injured the worst. There were some dead patients that pretended that they died, and what's going on now is the police have escorted the fire and rescue in to pull these patients out, and fire and rescue is getting these people out of there and helping the paramedics, and that's what they're doing. Now, normally the fire police would be, or the fire people would be in their full suits, but I mean it was 100 degrees in there.
Exactly. I mean that's what I was thinking about those guys and the SWAT guys.
Yeah.
And they're still on guard, not knowing what's going to happen. The scene is actually completely safe.
I think my brother-in-law must have been there.
Yeah, people don't realize what goes on behind the scenes and what training that they have to go through. You know, they think, well, we just call the cops and they'll come secure everything and everything will be fine. Well, there's a process. There's an incident commander. There's people under that command situation. So,
and the fire department doesn't work with the police department very often. You know, typically it's their fire and police are just standing by. This is a situation where they can train to work with them and they learn their roles.
You have to have a cohesive team there to make it effective. And you know, I can remember when we worked at the hospital that they talked about this type of thing, what to do in case of a mass
And for those viewers that
emergency.
are just viewing in, this was a mock drill. There was nobody hurt. These are just kids that were pretending to go through a bomb casualty incident, and so don't. I mean, there's nothing graphic here. It's just people pretending that they're injured. But it gives the public a chance to see what goes on, and it gives them a chance to practice. Yeah, to practice these kind of events. Because
it could happen. You just never know. And you know, think about. I mean, of course, I'm thinking now too. The heat would have to play a factor in this as well. They're out on the asphalt ground and 100-something degrees.
A lot of communication going on in these types of situations.
And all these departments have to work with each other too.
Yeah. But anyway, we did some interviews with fire chief and police chief as well, and just wanted to give them a chance to explain what they did.
Great footage.
We'll close the show out with some of those interviews.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank you, Ian. That was great.
Okay, what the call came out for today was that there was a disturbance at the church here, and then right after the disturbance there was a loud explosion. So other than that, our people that are on the inside don't know anything other than that. So they have to respond to just that amount of information and then work from there and figure out what they needed to do. Well, I think all of these drills are real important to us because we have to get our people trained on a real emergency. I mean, this may not be one of the things that come in, but it could be a scenario that happens one day. So what we try to do is, in all of our training, is to make sure that we try to cover all the bases on everything that we need to do, and this is a great training exercise for all of our emergency responders here in the town.
We came out here to look at our weaknesses and try to work on them in the event that it actually did happen. The guys all handled it real well. They went in, they followed in the SWAT team and got the people out quickly. So we don't get a lot of chance to work with the police department on this, so it's been real good for us to do that.
I was the wife of the bomber.
It's the smoke room.
And apparently we got into an argument. That's why he bombed this place. And so the entire time I'm screaming, my baby, because my baby's dead and I have a gun. So I had to fight with the police about putting the gun down, so finally they arrested me.
I had to hide under the desk and act like I was scared.
I had to pretend that I was injured.
I had to go underneath some chairs and hide forever until they found me.
I had to go by the stage. Of course, it's dark, lots of smoke. I wasn't injured at all, just waited for help.
First off, I want to thank the church for letting us use this. I know that we've got smoke that's going off in there and all kinds of stuff, and we really appreciate all the help that they have. But all of us, I want to thank all the agencies that are involved. And we had to bring, we had a lot of kids that are out here, and we have to really thank them for playing our little actors for them. And then we had, the ambulance people that come out. Of course, with police and fire, we're right next door to each other. But I want to thank all of them. They've done a real good job out here.